couple level deep, but no, I hate them. Like, I got no empathy for people who hurt children. It's just like, it's not a part of me. I get so angry about people who disregard or, because here's the thing, and you guys, what grade is this again?
Seniors.
You guys are seniors, right? So you guys are on the cusp of adulthood, and you're about to find out there's no such thing as adults. It's a lie that's been perpetrated against you to keep children totally controlled. There's no grown-ups. Mr. Whitaker here is a really cool dude, but he's not a grown-up. He could let you trying to do his job and do a useful thing. That's what all of us are doing. I am the same person I was when I was 6 years old. Every memory, every kind of motivation. Now, you can go through different beliefs, you can go through having different opinions on things, you can learn, you can grow, but you're still that person. It's in your DNA, it's who you are. So, like, people who have, like, no empathy for children, it's just mind-boggling to me. I got 3 kids, I love kids, I've worked with kids, you know, for years. I taught middle school. I just feel like there's a lot of pressures on kids because they don't have any control over their lives. So you just try to be as, like the way Alfred is for young Bruce, that's how I've always tried to be for kids. And so people that would actually like use children for their own gratification, it's disgusting. It just makes me, like, I'm not for the death penalty. Jesus.
Any other questions? Other ideas? No. All right, we're continuing with, again, I'm helping people out who are writing stuff down here. I wanted to ask, there's one of the things I have my kids tackling in this essay is the idea of what lesson are we supposed to learn through a specific character in the story. And I've been telling them that it's not like obvious surface level, but it seems like your story is very, hey, this is what I'm trying to get across, and maybe I'm wrong. So you get to ask an author, like, what were you trying to hopefully convey through your story as a young Dean and even now?
Well, it's very specific, and it's just that people who are abused as children don't become abusers by and large. Like, most abusers weren't abused. And they may seem like a simple, like, factoid that you could just tweet, but the truth was, you had to understand the context of my journey to learning that, for it to have an emotional resonance, and so it would become part of the thing. And it's such a pervasive myth. You know, the way people talk about the way the Inuit have 1,000 words for snow. It's like an anecdote that gets put in every speech, and it's not true. They just compound adjectives together with the word snow. So stuff gets spread. Like, some sharks can stop swimming. Do you know that? You hear that sharks have to keep swimming. True for all sharks. It's not, you know, as far as we know. But when a myth like that takes hold in the media, this is what we know. This is the thing that's all here. Like, you've learned a lot of stuff in school, right? But most of what you know, you've learned as facts in fictional stories. Like, the first time I encountered a Beethoven song was in a Bugs Bunny cartoon. Or when you first hear about the Roman Empire, it's in some cartoon. All this stuff is coming to you from TV shows and movies and books. You're learning things, but it's through the filter of fiction. And fiction's great, but other people making those stories are also in the same boat. They're learning from fiction. So when you see a crime show that, like, you know, all these people who were molested, they become molesters, you pass that on when it's your turn to do a crime story. And that's not true, but because you've learned it and it wasn't fact-checked, it spreads like a virus. So my goal was just to counteract that narrative in the most effective way I am skilled to do. But I did it not just for the populace, but mostly for people who were abused, you know, so that they could put their guns down.
What made you choose the title Something Terrible when there's a great resolution at the end of the story?
That's a good question, too. Well, it's like a multi-layer thing. I like it when, you know, you have a like multiple meanings built into one phrase, and so it always works for you. But the story's about something terrible that happened to me. But when in Batman's origin story in 1939, I think the first time told his origin, like the first issues of him, they didn't have his origin. But then Bill Finger, the co-creator of Batman, I'm friends with his granddaughter now, by the way, because of this book. Just super, but like the guy who wrote the character that saved my life, you know? But he wrote this origin story, and in it, you see that something terrible happens to him. He's to do with it. He's going to prevent this from ever happening to anyone else, and he's going to dedicate his whole life to this one thing. He's like, I will become a creature of the night, something terrible. And so that's this built-in phrase in the origin of the character, and so it's like a little double meaning. Stories about something terrible. Plus, it's really fun to say I'm the creator of something terrible. I did this book, it's something terrible. So I was happy with the title. For a long time I was going to call it different things, but when I hit on that, I knew it was the one.
That was kind of like the joke I like to tell colleagues that we're reading something terrible. So, that's good. Any other questions?
Yeah.
No? Did you have one?
Yeah.
Them?
Did you ever confront the person who
Did you ever confront the person who did this to you?
Did I ever confront the person? Yeah. No. I didn't know his last name until I started working on this book. I told my mom I was working on this book, and it was weird because have you guys seen the new version with the new the new epilogue?
Only the one with the afterword from the 99-cent version.
Well, I'll send you guys the new edition that I just put out that has a new 4-page epilogue that has a nice little wrap up to it. But I told my mom that I was working on this book, and like I was looking for a new job, and like a lot was going on, but it's like I had to tell this story because I'd finally come out the other side of this darkness that had like just enveloped my whole life, you know? And so I told her, like, I'm not going to ask you any questions about stuff I don't remember or don't know until I get done with it, because I have to tell it from the point of view of my experience, not from what I need to know. It turned out I was right about the actual crime and the facts and stuff, except that I had thought it was one weekend and it was actually like 2, and but she knew the last name of the kid, so teenage guy, and so I was able to Google him, which is how I found out at the time when I had done the book, he was in jail for driving the wrong way down a one-way road with his kid in the car, and he was drunk. So he's obviously turned into a model citizen, and you know, it's freaky to think that he's got kids, but he's out of jail now. Like, I don't really think about it too much because it's distracting. I'm very emotional, and so like worrying about that kind of thing just is overwhelming to me, so I just distract myself from that kind of thing. So I know kind of roughly where he lives. He's, you know, in his like mid to late 40s. He looks like a let's say D-bag. Like, if I say D-bag, you guys imagine a guy in your head. That's what he looks like. You got it.
Any other questions, ladies and gentlemen? All right, I don't want to keep you hostage, Seth. So I want to say...
It was really nice to talk to you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much. Can we have a hand for Mr. Trippe? We really do appreciate this. I know some kids got some good stuff out of this, hopefully. I think it'll translate into good papers, but I think it's just a really cool experience to talk to an actual author who wrote something. So
cool. And thanks, guys. And if you want to see more of my comics, you can just look them up at ddeWhitakerTrippeC.com. My name's spelled the same way that it is on the book. But if you Google me, you'll get me.
All right. Thanks a lot. Dean Trippe, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Bye.